Hello everyone and welcome to another Tempo Storm Wild Meta video, where we highlight decks and strategies you can use to become legendary on the Hearthstone Wild ladder. At the time of this video, the Wild Hearthstone meta is stable and the decks to beat are all well established. When the best decks are so well refined, you'll need to do more than simply pick the right deck to succeed on ladder. Individual card choices can have a big impact, and the right tech cards have the potential to improve your odds against the most powerful decks in Wild. What are tech cards and how can they make a difference in your games? Join us as we take a closer look at the art of tech. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Tempo Storm Hearthstone YouTube channel to keep up to date on the latest developments in the Wild format. Let's start by identifying what tech cards are. In most established decks, like Snip Snap Warlock, most of the cards in the deck are core cards that are critical to the deck's game plan, or are support cards that tie the deck together. Even in finely tuned lists, there will be a few non-essential cards that are more flexible. These are tech cards, and they can be changed to suit the matchups you expect in the field. While tech cards are never essential, they can have a powerful impact on your games. We're highlighting Wild-specific examples in this video, but these concepts also apply to Standard and can be broadly applied to other CCGs as well. With that in mind, let's take a closer look at different types of tech cards and how they're used. Of all the tech cards you can add to your deck, targeted hate cards like Eater of Secrets and Skulking Geist are the most straightforward. These powerful but narrow cards can have a staggering effect on the game the moment you play them. In some cases, like playing Skulking Geist early against Jade Druid, just playing the card alone can simply win the game outright. But even if the act of playing these cards is simple, the decision on whether or not to add them to your deck is not. While powerful, these cards are only suitable for a narrow range of matchups, such as Eater of Secrets against Secret Mage and Skulking Geist against Jade Druid. If you don't queue into the matchup you're looking for, these cards are virtually dead. Another consideration is whether or not your deck can support the specific hate card. Skulking Geist can be powerful, but decks with certain deck building restrictions, like Big Priest and Odd Rogue, can't really play Geist at all. That being said, if your local meta is overrun by decks that are weak to a specific hate card, it's often correct to play it if your deck supports it. For example, when pirate-heavy decks like Kingsbane Rogue were popular, Golakka Crawler was a strong anti-meta choice for decks like Even Shaman. After the nerfs to Kingsbane Rogue, pirates largely dropped out of the meta, so Golakka Crawler is no longer useful tech, and Even Shamans have moved on. Playing targeted hate cards is high risk, high reward, so pay close attention to resources like our meta snapshots to find out if the time is right to add these cards to your deck. Silence and transformation cards are another type of tech card that deserve to be mentioned. From neutral options like Ironbeak Owl and Spellbreaker to class-specific effects like Devolve and Mass Dispel, these cards offer flexible ways to neutralize problem minions. The current Wild meta is full of decks like Mech Paladin and Mechathune Warlock that can establish massive threats or impassable taunts that are hard to remove by normal means. A timely Ironbeak Owl will shrink down a magnetized mech or shut down Voidlord so you can push through it with a lethal attack. Silence effects are safer to use than targeted hate since they're useful in more matchups, but only include them if your deck can support them. Stay away from silence if the meta is overrun with aggressive decks that feature naturally overstated minions or over-the-top damage. Speaking of aggression, anti-aggro tech cards can help you manage the board and stay alive in heavily aggressive metas. For defensive combo decks like Snip Snap Warlock, early aggression from decks like Secret Mage and Odd Rogue can be hard to deal with. Sometimes your opponents play around your early removal and threaten lethal before your mass removal or game-ending combo can come online. In these scenarios, cards like Mistress of Mixtures and Bronze Gatekeeper can help protect your health and manage the board long enough for you to set up your combos. Combo decks aren't the only ones that can benefit from a bolstered defense. Historically, aggressive decks like Token Druid and Aggro Paladin have played high impact and durable taunts like Crypt Lord and Anoyotron in order to help manage the board against other aggro decks. Just like with targeted hate and silences, anti-aggro tech can fall flat if the meta doesn't call for it, so if your local meta is dominated by control and combo decks, you'll want to look for other options. Our last category of tech cards is less about countering opposing strategies and more about making your own strategies harder to counter. If you're playing a popular deck and the rest of the ladder is gunning for you, playing over-the-top trump cards can help you power through the hate. A current example is the inclusion of Mechathune in Snip Snap Warlock. With Reno control decks packing multiple answers like Zephrys the Great against your Snip Snap combos, Mechathune gives you an extra win condition that's difficult for the opponent to deal with. And Snip blocks aren't the only ones using trump cards as tech. From odd rogues locking out removal spells with Lotheb, to even shamans refilling their hands with Octosari, and Mechathune warlocks fitting in Highlander cards like Zephyrs the Great, Wild is full of decks that show why the best defense is a good offense. This approach can be powerful against late-game reactive decks, but is weak against aggressive decks that beat you before you can use your trump cards. As always, keep the meta in mind when you decide if this kind of tech card is right for you. In a streamlined meta, adding a tech card or two can have a huge impact on your performance against the rest of the field. Whether you're looking for powerful but narrow answers to specific decks, broad answers to common threats, or trump cards that can help you seal the deal, tech cards are an important part of any competitive player's toolkit. If you're paying close attention to the meta, you're sure to find the tech card that's right for you. If this breakdown was useful for you, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with our Wild Hearthstone content. Thanks for watching!